Independent National Electoral Commission files 6-count charge against suspended Adamawa resident Electoral Commissioner Ari. Yola residents facing water shortage pay 1,000 naira per jerrycan. President Tinubu suspends 5% telecommunications tax, defers Finance Act commencement date. 3 children among 17 killed in gas leak horror outside Johannesburg. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trusted TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission has filed a 6-count charge against a suspended resident electoral commissioner in Adamawa State, Hudu Yunusa Ari. The charges were filed at the High Court in Yola, the state capital, according to INEC spokesman Festus Okoye. In a statement on Thursday, Okoye said that the electoral body took the action after reviewing the case file from the police, which established a prima facie case against Yunusa Ari. Yunusa Ari had courted controversy after the supplementary election in Adamawa on April 15, 2023, when he announced Aishat Ahiru of the All Progressives Congress as the winner of the dramatic poll while the collation of results was ongoing. The situation prompted INEC to nullify Yunusa Ari's decision and suspended him, while then President Muhammadu Buhari ordered a full investigation into the matter. INEC subsequently concluded the election and announced the incumbent governor, Ahmadu Fintiri of the People's Democratic Party, as the authentic winner of the drama-filled poll. The Nigeria Police Force later arrested Yunusa Ari over his conduct during the governorship election in Adamawa State. A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari. Kyari, who has been in detention since his arrest in 2022, was granted bail on Thursday. Justice Kolawole Omotosho of a federal high court in Abuja granted him bail, but Kyari still has a criminal case before Justice Emeka Nwite of a federal high court in Abuja. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, had declared the former Super Cop wanted over his alleged involvement in a 25 kg cocaine deal. He was subsequently arrested and arraigned in court, which ordered his remand in Kuje prison in Abuja. The police had set up a panel to probe the conduct of the former head of the Intelligence Response Team, IRT, of the Inspector General of Police. He was subsequently suspended from the force. Residents in Yola, the Adamawa State capital, have expressed concern over the acute water scarcity in the city. As a result, most of them now rely on water vendors, as taps have stopped running for years, with little or no action by authorities to ameliorate their hardship. Salis Lawan reports.
The areas worst hit by the scarcity include Churoma Street, Bamoy, and Tongo Ward of Yola South local government area. Most of the boreholes drilled in the area have broken down due to years of neglect and poor maintenance. The communities now rely on supply from water trucks, majorly contributed by members.
It is more than 20 years we are facing this challenge. Since from our parents up to right now, we are the elders of the area, or we are the youth of the areas. We are facing a lot of problem of water. We are buying one truck of water. That is a puspus. We are buying 1,900. Sometimes we are buying the 600. That is the level, the lower level that we are buying water inside the area right now. So we are facing a lot of problem about the water.
We have a very difficult to get water in this ward. So please, we are appealing to the government to get this water to us, because we are neighboring to the water board here. So please, let government see us.
The recent fuel subsidy removal has left the vendors with no option than to increase their prices from 70 to 80 or 90 naira per 20 liters of water, depending on the location. The vendors are making bricks businesses due to the growing demand of their services.
Anan shagari na iwa zan kai Sokoro City bisa ga inda za ka yi ne yanzu kaman daga nan zuwa inda za mu kai Sokoro City nan 1500 ne.
I used to deliver it to my customers. In fact, for me, this is one of the best business I can do. I make about 7,000 to 8,000 a day as a result of the rise in patronage.
Muna liba muna kaiwa. Mun kai mafi yawanci muna kaiwa bashi ne.
The business is lucrative, but sometimes we do supply water for a whole month without being paid by some of our customers. But one good thing is that I enjoy doing the business.
Wanda ya fito nema kamar ya samu na biyan bukatansa, ai shikenan ko ba haka ba.
This job pays my bills and that of my family, which makes me the breadwinner. Children's school fees, hospital bills, and house rent are all taken care by my job.
They urged the state government to rehabilitate the Yola water treatment plant and upgrade the reticulation system to enhance water supply in the area as well as access to potable water in Yola and its environs as part of mitigation plan. Silas Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
As the Nigeria Meteorological Agency continues issuing warnings on flood and other elements, residents and environmental experts in Bayelsa State have raised an alarm over the alleged nonchalant attitude of the government in taking the warning of NIMET serious. They stated this while speaking to our reporter in the state capital, Yenagoa. The report.
The country yet to recover from the devastation of the 2022 flood. Residents of Bayelsa are worried that if necessary steps are not taken, many could see 2022 repeating in 2023. A resident and environmental expert, Priya Aganaba, said it's time for the state government to do the needful to avoid loss of lives and properties.
The quantity of rainfall also leads to saturation of the earth, and then at a point there is nowhere for the water to go other than to flow. And then it flows from the north, and then it builds momentum, turns into a large pool, and then starts wreaking havoc. That's what happens.
Another resident who was affected by the recent flash flood in Yenagoa, George Aligbe, said up to now he has not seen the state government taking steps by clearing the natural canals and drainages, even though this year's rainy season has not recorded much flood and disaster like that of last year.
It's certain that floods are coming, and one has to prepare about it. We are beginning to see the sign of the flood coming up, but we have not really seen the proactive nature of the committee, and the government is sleeping. Whether you like it or not, the government is sleeping, and here is flood again. Whether we like it or not, we are seeing it.
Similarly, a renowned environmental rights activist, Alagwa Morris, said it is not enough for NIMET to just forecast without putting in effort to avert the disaster.
There is no other effort that these federal government agencies and the government itself, whether it is Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, have done before we begin to blame the states. And why we have to blame the states, and even to some extent the local governments, and even individuals, is that this is happening to you. You don't need to wait for another person to come and tell you to be safe.
They all want the state government to work with stakeholders to ensure that the right steps are taken to avert flood-related disaster.
Meanwhile, the Federal Capital Territory Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, said it is taking proactive measures during the rainy season to address the flooding challenges facing the capital city, Abuja. Director General of FEMA, Dr. Abbas Idris, while speaking on Trust TV's flagship program, Daybreak, stated that the agency has mapped out hazard areas that are prone to flooding within the city. On the Trademore estate facing flood threat annually, Abbas said that the area itself is sitting on the waterways and needs to be evacuated.
We know areas that are prone to flooding based on our hazard mapping. And we also know the areas that are flood to other hazards. So we don't stress ourselves, but we segment ourselves and make sure that when there is any early warning, when we receive early warning from NIMET, we concentrate. Once they show to us that there's going to be flooding and it's going to affect FCT, and our prediction also will now look at the indices and say, if there is going to be flooding, it could be District A or Community B. So we now focus ourselves there and ensure that our responders are very close by to give response. The problem of Trademore is that it's just sitting on the waterway. It is just sitting on the waterway. There is no solution that you can give except if you are going to do underground to bypass the water under the estate.
The chairman of the National Population Census, Nasir Isa Kwara, has said that the President Bola Tinubu will announce new dates for Nigeria's conduct of the National Population and Housing Census. The NPC boss told State House correspondents on Thursday after his meeting with the President that further delay in the conduct of the census will incur additional expenses. The census, earlier scheduled for May 3rd to 7th, 2023 by the then administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, was postponed to a date to be determined by the Tinubu administration. After a meeting with the President on Thursday, Kwara said that he briefed him on the Commission's preparedness for the census. He said that the President was fully apprised of extant plans and processes for the exercise, but noted that further delays in the conduct of the census will amount to additional cost for the government. He, however, explained that the preparations for the exercise, which has already gulped 100 billion naira, is a huge investment for the country, adding that subsequent exercises will be less expensive. President Bola Tinubu has approved the suspension of 5% excise tax on telecommunications services in Nigeria. He has also approved the suspension of excise duties escalation on locally manufactured products in the country. Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, disclosed this during a press conference with the State House correspondents on Thursday.
Alake told journalists that these were part of 4 executive orders signed by the President. He said this decision was taken to reduce the sufferings of Nigerians, especially the area of multiple taxation, as well as creating a more friendly environment for both local and foreign businessmen.
Now, upon taking over the reins of government, the President promised to run a government that will not make life difficult for Nigerians or asphyxiate or stifle corporate entities in spite of the challenges the federal government. In spite of these challenges, this federal government is irrevocably committed to this pledge.
He stated that the President signed the Finance Act Effective Date Variation Order 2023, which now differs the commencement date of the changes contained in the Act from May 23rd, 2023 to September 1st, 2023. Tinubu also ordered the suspension of the newly introduced green tax by the way of excise tax on single-use plastics, including plastic containers and bottles, as well as suspension of import tax adjustment levy on certain vehicles.
Executive Order 1, the Finance Act Effective Date Variation Order 2023 has now deferred the commencement date of the changes contained in the Act from May 28, 2023 to September 1, 2023. This is to ensure adherence to the 90 days minimum advance notice for tax changes as contained in the 2017 National Tax Policy.
Aleke equally explained that the President issued these orders to ameliorate the negative impact of the tax adjustment on business and chokehold on households across affected sectors. Other presidential advisors at the briefing also stated the President assured Nigerians that there will be no further tax raise without robust and wide consultations undertaken within the context of a coherent fiscal policy framework.
The focus of this administration is to harmonize our taxes, the way we collect it. Mr. President actually wants to simplify and make it friendly to business, the way we operate taxes in Nigeria. And as we know that when you talk about the revenue management, it's not only in tax collection. The starting point is our economic policy.
So the president and this administration is very sensitive to the plight of the Nigerians. And he's already promised, we will ensure that the suffering is reduced and also ensure that businesses operate in a more friendly environment.
Any cost that has been passed over to the consumers will also be suspended, and this will be enforced through the consumer protection agencies of the government. We do know that ultimately, as all my colleagues have said, the ultimate gain is to alleviate the plight of Nigerians, and we will ensure that this is done through the appropriate agencies of government.
In a bid to address concerns raised by manufacturers and other stakeholders regarding recent tax changes by the Muhammadu Buhari's administration, the president has now signed 4 executive orders, one of which is the suspension of the 5% excess tax on telecommunication services, as well as the excise duties escalation on local manufactured products.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at what it takes to stop open defecation. Details and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Independent National Electoral Commission files 6-count charge against suspended Adamawa Resident Electoral Commissioner Ari. Yola residents facing water shortage pay 1,000 naira per jerrycan. Now, elsewhere, the Plateau State chapter of the All Progressives Congress will suspend all members alleged to have acted against the party before, during, and after the 2023 general elections in the state. The state chairman of the party, Rufus Bature, disclosed this on Thursday during a stakeholders meeting of the party held at the Kalwa House, Jos. The APC, which described the activities of the elders of the party during the last general elections as unpatriotic, said it had set up machinery to deal with them according to the constitution of the party, adding that the party will not reward those who were disloyal to it during the election. The chairman further accused some party members of trying to divide the party in the state, saying such attempt wouldn't succeed. The Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has disowned the claim by one of the factional chieftains of the party in the state, Tony Okocha, over his comments that the ministerial slot of the state should be given to the former governor, Nyesom Wike. Reacting to Okocha's speech at the party secretariat in Port Harcourt, the state publicity secretary, Darlington Nwauju, denied that there has never been any agreement that the ministerial slot should be given to the former state governor. Darlington also emphasized that Tony Okocha is not a member of the party and has not received the mandate from the National Secretariat of the APC to speak on behalf of the party.
Our attention has been drawn to publications made on national dailies yesterday in the name of Rivers State APC purporting to have ceded the ministerial slot of the state to the immediate past governor of Rivers State, Mr. Nyesom Wike. The state chapter of the APC has never interacted with the amalgamated Bola Tinubu Campaign Council, which the purveyors of that force would claim to represent or to be representing. For the umpteenth time, we want to say that Mr. Tony Okocha is not a member of our great party.
The Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has disbanded a team of police officers attached to the Edo State Police Command that was responsible for running over a citizen at the Ekpoma area of the state. According to a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, the move was to address the unprofessional conduct of the officers. He added that the step was aimed at regularizing and standardizing police operations in the axis, as well as restore public trust in the police. The force spokesman also noted that the IGP reiterated his commitment to ensuring the highest standards of professionalism and ethics, while urging members of the public to always cooperate with the police officers in the discharge of their statutory duties. IGP Egbetokun had on June 30th summoned the officers involved to the force headquarters in Abuja after the disturbing incident where a police team ran a vehicle over a citizen on June 29 in Ekpoma. The United Nations Children's Fund says Nigeria will need to build no fewer than 3.9 million toilets annually to meet the open defecation-free target by 2025. According to the 2021 Water Sanitation and Hygiene WASH National Outcome Routine Mapping on Nigeria's sanitation status, 48 million people practiced open defecation, while 95 million were without access to basic sanitation services. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
This is one of the hotspots of open defecation around Tashanduku axis in Gombe metropolis. People who defecate here form part of the 48 million Nigerians who practice open defecation. Business owners who operate around this area launch a campaign against open defecation to sanitize the environment.
Musamman ma kamar yanzu wannan kwari din. Kaga in ka zo ka shiga wannan kwari kai fitsari, kaga ruwa zai tafi.
Waste from the open defecation contaminates water and cause diseases. We used to sanitize the area with my members. Building toilets will address the problem. There were efforts to do so, but maintenance became a problem. Open defecation destroys the environment and causes diseases. I feel sad about it. People should use the toilet as recommended by our religion. Apart from damaging the environment, health experts say open defecation poses a great danger to humans' health.
Avoid open defecation because the microorganisms come out in feces into the surface, and that will contaminate surface waters and also waters that are used in watering the vegetables in our gardens and what have you. So open defecation should also be avoided.
As it stands, Nigeria builds 200,000 toilets annually, but 95 million Nigerians lack access to basic sanitation services, forcing a large percentage of the population to practice open defecation. To address the problem, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says Nigeria must build 3.9 million toilets annually to meet the open defecation-free target by 2025. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Nigeria has been exempted from the list of 12 African countries that are set to receive the 18 million doses of the first ever malaria vaccine. The Vaccine Alliance, the World Health Organization, and the United Nations Children's Fund disclosed this in a joint statement on Wednesday. The Mosquirix RTSS vaccine, developed by British pharmaceutical giant GSK, has already been administered to more than 1.7 million children in Ghana, Kenya and Malawi as part of a pilot program. In addition to the 3 test countries which will continue to receive doses, 9 other countries will benefit from supplies, WHO, UNICEF and the Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, said in a statement. They are Benin, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Cameroon, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, Niger, Sierra Leone and Uganda. The first vaccines are expected to arrive in the last quarter of the 2023 and be deployed in early 2024. On the foreign scene, the death toll from a toxic gas leak that authorities blamed on an illegal gold processing operation in South Africa has risen to 17, including 3 children. Police at the scene have removed canisters from a community of closely parked shacks and have been sifting through evidence. The leak of what authorities said was a toxic nitrate gas happened on Wednesday night in the informal Angelo settlement in Boksburg, a city on the eastern outskirts of Johannesburg. The 3 children who died were aged 1, 6 and 15, police said. At least 10 people were taken to hospital, including a 2-month-old baby, 2 4-year-olds and a 9-year-old, according to Panyaza Lesufi. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.